Hello everybody, welcome back to Vintage Thursday. So today you join us, we are with the 35 again, the new one we have acquired this year, the one with the loader on. So I have done a little job to this that has not been filmed, so we'll just quickly show you what I've done. But it was while doing that job we discovered the starter motor on this tractor. It hasn't gone yet, but it's on its way out. So anyway, so this is what we've done. We have reinstated our rear end number plate. So what I've done, I sandblasted and painted at the square on the back of the diff housing, and because I have absolutely zero painting skills, what I've done is I've bought a vinyl cut number plate, you know, letters and numbers. Okay, so what I've done, matte black paint, and then just stuck the stickers on. I would like to be able to paint it as they were back in the olden days, but I simply don't have the skills or the ability to drive a paintbrush, so I don't bother. I just buy these off of eBay. So these 6 letters and numbers delivered from eBay, £1.92p. So yeah, I don't even bother messing about with paintbrushes for that. It's not 100% original, but it looks nice. I like the way it looks. And I'm happy with it. So that's what we've done. Anyway, it was while taking it to the yard to blast it off, the starter, the tractor wouldn't start. This tractor doesn't start well anyway. The starter is quite lazy. It doesn't turn over fast enough. I think that's part of the problem, is the starter doesn't spin fast enough. I know we are down on compression anyway, but the starter is part of the issue. It's not really been a problem in the maybe 8-10 times I've started it since I've had the tractor, but when I was taking it into the yard to do the blasting on the back end, we had smoke coming from the starter motor. We did just about get going to get to the yard and back again, but that made me decide we need to change the starter on this. I'm hoping it will help starting of this engine by having a bit more power and hopefully spinning quicker. So that starter is gone, it's worn out, potentially could be refurbished. I'll hang on to it because you never know, in the future it might be done, but for the price of a new starter, I'm not messing with it at the moment. So what I've done, I have ordered a new Lucas starter. I think that was £120, might have been plus delivery. Yeah, so it's quick, it's easy, it's not wildly expensive. And also, while we're doing it, we are going to change the battery cables so that we get nice, shiny, clean terminals. Because again, that will hopefully help the starting. So, right, let's get to it. We are going to do it in the shed. We're not going to go to the yard and do it by the workshop because I don't think it's going to start. And I don't really want any fires. So we're going to start off, we are going to disconnect all the cables. So this is the one that goes back to the ignition switch to energize the solenoid. So that one's easy, came off nice and easy. We're going to undo this nut here. So what that is this wire here, you can see, is the power feed that goes up to the ignition, and that also is the feed that comes back from the dynamo to recharge the battery. Now this big battery cable in the back, you probably won't be able to see, is a negative from the battery, because this is a positive earth tractor. So there's a big chunky battery cable on here, but you won't be able to see it from where the camera is sitting. There is the battery cable. That's a nice clean connection. There's no corrosion in there, so that's not causing the starting issue. Now we also have a secondary earth cable that comes from, this is the positive battery cable coming to earth, and there's another earth strap you can see going up to the front end of the starter. So that cable is through one of the starter mounting bolts, so that's off, that's off. Again, here is our earth cable. That doesn't look too bad. It's a little bit greasy in there, but it's not corroded. But we're going to change it just to make sure we're not, just remove any doubt on the terminals. That is a bit grubby. But anyway, right, that is all the battery connections undone, and one of the bolts, retaining bolts. What we need to do next, there is so it's 3 bolts holding the starter on. There's one here, one we've taken out, and there's one hidden away up in the back, which isn't going to be particularly easy, but it's got to be done. Okay, there's the other battery connection. Not too bad. So we're going to go in with a socket on long extension. It is worth saying, pretty sure I have given the tractor a good steam clean, and I'm pretty sure I've done that since it last appeared in the video. I think I have, I can't remember. I certainly washed it, and it's made it much more pleasant to do things on. There is the back mounting bolt, and that then just leaves the final one. Just put this original bolt back in just to take the weight. There is dates on Lucas starters, and we'll have a look in a minute, see if we can see if it is original. There is a summit there. We'll have a look. When we get it off, we've got a bit better look at it. It does still have, or does still seem to have, factory paint on it, so this could well be the original starter motor. So I've just given the starter motor a little quick wire brush off, and I'm not sure if you can see it. Here we have 60. Okay, so this is still the original starter motor. There's a date in there, 1960. So yes, he's not done. The starter motor has done very well indeed, because we are over 8,000 hours, 8,888 hours, and it does still count. I know that's accurate, and I know it's still moving. So that is a starter motor that has done very well indeed. Time for a new one. So let's break the new one out of its box. There it is, all wrapped up. This might be a two-handed job. Okay, so here we have 65 years old Lucas, original, genuine, versus brand new, again genuine Lucas part. Now, who's willing to bet to me that this particular one won't get to 65 years old like this one has? We will see. Time will tell, but I got a funny feeling it's not going to. Anyway, right, we're not going to worry about this secondary earth strap for now. We're going to put it on. There is a fit in here that will take it. We're going to tighten that up just so the nut doesn't fall off, but I think we're going to be all right. We're going to try it without it anyway, so we'll see how we go. Right, so here we go for the new starter. Again, work somewhat hampered by the loader, but as is the norm with loader tractors, it's never quite so easy. Ooh, that's tricky too. Right, that'll stop it falling off for now. Right, so now the two bolts are fitted and tightened up. What we're going to do, because the earth strap comes down onto this final fixing bolt, we're going to leave that one slack while we replace the battery cables. So this is the negative that goes up onto the solenoid. So we're going to pull this one away and then replace it with new. Okay, so we've got our end crimped on. All we need to do is thread it around the back and put it up to this terminal on the front here. And then we are also going to put our power feed up to the starter switch. I think what we're going to do, we need to give that a clean. That's a bit grubby. Bit of emery cloth, just to make sure we get the best connection possible. Goes on too. So nice and tight, just like that. And while we're here, this is the connection that energizes the solenoid. So he's on the other side on this new one, and that not the best fit. We might end up, yeah, I think we'll end up changing that. We'll put a new crimp on there. But for now, we might just give him a squeeze with some pliers just to tighten him up a bit. There we are. Right, that'll do for now. We'll change him when we change the loom. Yeah, we'll have new fittings on there. We'll have new connectors on there. So that'll do for now. Right, that's all tight. Right, so that is the neutral wire finished. What we're going to do now, we're going to pull out the earth, the positive. Again, make a new cable, but with this time we need to use the bigger crimp-on terminal to match the bigger bolt. So let's pull this one out. Then we will crimp on this end. I'll be back. Right, so we will pull out the old earth wire, thread down the new with our nice new crimp on the end. So now that we have our cable routed down through, which way is best? Probably that way around. Straight onto the starter mounting plate. What I'll probably have to do is, when it's tight, put a little twist in here, make sure that's over so that we can access the fuel bowl. If you can see that, you can't quite see that. Let's tip up a little bit. Just make sure that this cable doesn't foul the fuel bowl when it's tight. And we give them a little tweak. There we go. Put a battery terminal on the other end, and we are ready for a start. Well, I say for a start, we're going to have a go at starting. Right, so now we are back to finish off. We had to pack up last night. Once we'd finished the wires, it was too dark, couldn't see anything. So we'll quickly have a recap on what we did. So here is just the ends of our new cables, two new battery terminals. This positive, the earth, is only temporary for now, because I will, in the fullness of time, fit a battery isolator onto this, and I haven't decided fully yet, but it's probably going to come down here somewhere, mount onto this bolt. So we'll just reroute the cables and then through to earth back on the far side. But you know, I'm too impatient for that at the moment. I just want to get on and see, does our new starter make any difference to the starting ability. So the starter did come with this plastic cover for bolting on, going over the terminals, keeping it tidy. I'm going to leave that off, I think. It's not, you know, they didn't have it when they were new. It's a modern thing. But something else I have decided. Okay, so this is the negative lead feeding the starter. You'll see here it's a very strained corner on that fitting. So what I've done, I've looked up online. You can get an angled fitting for here. So the cable will come straight along, and the angle is actually into the terminal. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get some of those, because I don't like this funny angle. It's the same, it's exactly the same on the 35X. So what I'll do, if I get a packet, if I think there's coming a packet of 10, I can just change stuff, make it look a bit nicer, because it is exactly the same here. It would just be better to have a nice tidier looking job on the 35X as well. So yes, that's a little job again for the future, because we don't have any of those at the minute. So anyway, right, let's get the bonnet down. We'll check all our oils and our water. We're going to go for the start. See, does our new starter help? So I haven't got around to buying a seat cushion yet, so we're going to borrow the one off the 35X. We have oil. We have water. And we have fuel. Right, here goes the big moment. So I think it's about 3 weeks ago since I last started this, when I took it in the yard to do the blasting and the painting on the number plate. So here we go. Let's see what happens. Oh, that's not a good start. Well, I am very impressed with that. That is many times better than it has been in the past. It's been winding for probably up to a minute to get it to start, which is very poor for these engines. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with that now. So I think what we'll do, we'll hitch our weight block back on, have a little drive around just because I enjoy playing with it really. So there we go, mission accomplished. It now starts much better than it did. I'm very pleased about that. I think I still need to have the head off, check the valves. That should then, I think the valves will benefit from lapping in. That will then make it even better starting than it is. The engine on this is worn. We are getting a lot of crankcase pressure. I don't think for the work this is going to do, it's going to be worthwhile of an engine rebuild at the moment. I've got other more pressing projects that will need, that can, you know, that will warrant a bit more time spent on them. But once I can get this, now we're 90% of the way to reasonably well starting. I'm happy. So we'll get the valves done in the winter, rewire it, and then hopefully it will just chug for all the work it's going to do. It'll be all right on the pistons and the liners, what it's got. That's the plan anyway, hopefully. So there we go, another step towards getting this as a usable tractor that I can just put a battery on and jump on and have a little play with. So there we go. I would say, so that'll do for this. So that will end today's video. I would say thank you very much for watching. We are in the 3-cylinder shed, it seems to be, apart from 698. Everything in here has a 3-cylinder engine, the 3-cylinder shed. So I would say thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.